I apologise for the sound. There's been a recent update to either Windows or OBS which has completely messed up all of the default sound drivers throughout the operating system and or OBS and or lots of other things. So yeah, I need to have a look at that. Anyway, we're on the ground at China Lake with the Boom XB-1 in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. So we're going to go and have a look around the aeroplane. I'm going to use the drone camera to have a good look around it first. So this is the prototype aircraft that is being used to investigate aerodynamics for a future business jet, I imagine, a supersonic business jet. So this is a scaled down prototype. It's really, really nicely modelled. So it's been released with Sim Update 4 for Flight Simulator 2024. So Asobo have contracted one of the aircraft developers, I think it's FlightFX, have done it for them, to come and build the airplane for them, and they've done a really nice job. So it probably stands to reason that they've had access to the blueprints and to, you know, access to the real aircraft, because you don't get to build things that look like this by making it up. It's very, very good. So, full disclosure, I've only had a quick look at the aeroplane, so I will be finding out things and how to operate the aeroplane pretty much the same time that you're seeing me doing it. So we will see issues in the cockpit. There isn't much in the way of documentation for it, so we'll kind of have to follow our nose a little bit and use a bit of logic and a bit of common sense along the way, but hopefully it should be straightforward. But the modelling's lovely, isn't it? This really is kind of setting the bar for other developers, I think, in terms of the quality of the rendering. So I did open the canopy before I jumped to the drone camera, so we can go and have a look inside the cockpit and the slightly strange looking pilot, because it's obviously the flight simulator pilots, and I've not gone and put him in a test flight kit, but we'll see how he gets on. So you can see glass cockpit. This is very much a prototype aircraft, so there is very, very little inside the cockpit. Lots of breakers, none of it's operational by the way, but a few of the switches do seem to work, and the glass screens do seem to work, but not all of the functionality is built into them. Has no autopilot, has no external lights. It's a daytime only prototype aircraft for investigating aerodynamics. So we'll go and have a wander around it in a moment and have a play with it. Okay, I'll just move the drone camera out of the way. So yeah, this is a scale prototype for what will eventually be a much bigger aircraft, a supersonic commercial aircraft. So if I press Shift and X, that puts us back inside the cockpit. And we want to press Shift and C first to go do the walk around stuff. So let's go and have a look. So let's go and remove the chocks and remove the static port covers. Remove the sensor covers on the nose. Very common with test aircraft that they have an extended probe on the nose with all manner of sensors on it. So we need to also go and remove the covers from the engines. So we'll go do that. I think just that you just have to do the one. We'll just wander around to the other side just to make sure. I think it's all fine. We'll have a look at the tail as well. I don't think there's anything. I think taking the covers off the front of the engines also takes the covers off the jet pipes. Yeah, that's all fine. And it's also, it has got a brake shoe, I think. I'm not sure if you can control it or not. So press Shift and Shift and C puts us back inside. Okay, So looking around inside the cockpit, I've learnt a few bits and pieces about it, so we go and turn the electric on here. And that gives you warnings up here. I haven't been able to very successfully get rid of the CAS warning light. So, and I've gone through the checklists and I've kind of studied it, and I haven't got very far with that. So having turned on the battery, we can turn on the generator as well. We can go and turn things on around the cockpit. We want to close the canopy actually, so let's go do that. If we just click this lever, yeah, it's a shame it doesn't animate at all when the canopy is coming down. I imagine it's not going to be motorized, is it, being a test aeroplane? They're just going to pull the canopy down. So the ground crew would be doing that. It's interesting it has this viewports through the sides. You come in at such high angles of attack, you absolutely need, there's a camera in the nose, you absolutely need it to project your path. Okay, so we're going to go and turn some of these switches on. We're going to go and have a look. So I did figure this out earlier, so we need to go and put the avionics to on. And you'll see a servo fault there. Proceed. Proceed. So then we should be able to come into here, and you'll see it's asking for initial and bingo. So we're going to cheat slightly and pull up this tablet. You can see where I've been digging through the checklist to look for things. So flight performance, mass and balance, fuel, we'll fill it all the way up. So load aircraft. So I'm guessing we put in the amount of fuel we've got, which is 9.8 or 9.8, I'm guessing, in here. So we can increment this. 9, next 8, next 8. This is me guessing. There's not any documentation about, or nothing I've found yet. So we'll want bingo to be told to us maybe at 1 and 0. So I have no idea how if you have to confirm this. There doesn't appear to be anything obvious to do that. So page up, page down, clear. So clear will just get rid of the warnings, but we want to see everything here. Okay, so having done that, we'll go and start the engines up. So you'll see the numbers coming up. It's interesting we don't have hot air pouring out just yet. Let's do the others. Can we do both at the same time? It would appear we can. And they're both coming up. The Asobo planes tend to be quite simplified. So let's go and reset the generator. Is it going to work? Avionics buses are on. We'll go and pressurize the cabin. We'll put the airflow to on at the moment. We'll set the backup hydraulic to auto. This is already on auto. We'll set fuel transfer to auto. We'll go and turn on the control damping systems. Leave everything else on auto. Okay, so engines are up and running. It says generator is off, which is interesting to me. So we can go and look through here. The overview page shows you obviously what's going on. So we've got engine fail, which is rather interesting to me because the engines are running. So whether we can just clear that out, I don't know. Obviously if we go and open the engines up, it's bizarre, isn't it? Oh, I think I had to advance the throttles to idle from off. That's what was going on. So now they've come up to idle. Okay. And that's why we were getting the fails, and now they've gone away. Cool, that's all making sense. I still don't understand the bingo part of this. So we're going to get a caution light showing up because this is showing this. So this is the CAS panel. It makes no sense why, or see we have a servo fault as well. I'm not sure why. Because if we go and look outside, you will see that we have control deflection working absolutely fine. So let's just go and see how we get on with it, shall we? So head tracking on. I'm going to shift us slightly up in the cockpit so we can at least see around. Let's ease the throttles forwards. Taxi out. This does have afterburning engines, so it has 3 of them obviously. Okay, parking brake on for the moment. So you will notice looking at this, it has no flaps and it has no spoilers. So I'm just throwing the flaps to their axes. There's nothing. Just checking everything works. Let's run the engines up. I'll hold it on the toe brakes and the parking brake. Afterburner works. Didn't quite hold it, did it? Okay. Parking brake off. %, military thrust, no afterburner for the moment. So 60, 70 knots. Let's go and calibrate the altimeter as well. 100 knots. Look at it tipping around on the gear. 140, 150, and rotate gently. And we're off the ground at 185 knots, gear up. Coming up through 3,500 feet, 140 degrees. Climbing up to 300 knots, 4,500 feet. If we get to 5,000. We want about 280 degrees for the reciprocal. No, what am I talking about? 300 and... about 310, right? Maybe about 310, something like that. You can see the airfield over there anyway, so we get a good reference. Okay, so 5,000 feet. We'll just do a simple circuit to begin with. I'm not going to let it run away with itself getting too fast. You do have to trim a lot. We're holding about 300 knots, going downwind. Not that there is any wind today, but okay, let's bring it back round. So you've got an alpha meter here, so you're always pulling quite a few degrees of alpha. So we'll lose a bit of speed in the turn and then we'll drop the gear. Notice what I said, as soon as you get into that landing regime, then you get the nose camera switches on, which will help you enormously because you can't see where you're going because you're at high alpha. difficult to steer from an external view, especially with an aircraft as unstable as this. It looks real, doesn't it? Okay, afterburners on. Coming up through Mach 0.75. Climbing at 17,000 feet a minute. Look at it go. Coming up through 10,000 feet so quickly. So we'll take it out to about 20,000 feet. We'll do a big climbing turn. There's a huge stutter then from the sim. There's the runway. So, Mach 0.95. So we'll do a pass at 20,000 feet, then we'll take it higher. I'm having to trim. It still wants to drop its nose. Okay, it's now fairly stable. So we've gone supersonic anyway. So obviously if we go ahead of the aeroplane we can't hear anything anymore. So we'll let it continue climbing up to 30,000. So if we look down there, there's the airfield. Gonna have a look inside. We're climbing up through 24,000 feet. We're still supersonic. See how much fuel we've got left. So if we get it up to about 38,000 feet, that's probably where it's going to be at its fastest if we do a speed run. So we'll just turn it back to 140 degrees to go back over the top of the base. Got about 5 degrees of alpha in the turn. So we're at 30,000 feet, we want another few thousand feet, don't we? So we're still holding Mach 1.05. There's the base. 140 degrees. Keep an eye on the fuel. Okay, let's take it up and see what it can do flat out in a straight line. So it's just coming up through Mach 1.1 in a moment. So that's 36,000 feet. We're still climbing at the moment, obviously, at 4,000 feet a minute. So it's not the fastest thing in the world. .14, 1.15. Shall we look at it by outside? So there's the airfield. Coming up from Mach 1.2, we're slowly climbing. Okay, let's turn around and come back. We're keeping an eye on the fuel. We are burning through the fuel very quickly. Let's go up towards, yeah, let's get it above 40,000, see if it goes much quicker. There's the airfield. Look at the angle of attack. You can see the disparity to, we've got nearly 10 degrees, look, at just under Mach 1. Doesn't like manoeuvring at speed at high altitude. Yeah, we're going to have to come back down. Okay, let's let it drop then on the way. See what sort of speed it will do going downhill. Mach 1.3. We get Mach 1.4 before we pull out. There we go. Mach 1.4. Okay, my controls are starting to vibrate. Coming off the power. There's the runway directly in front of us. We're going to have to do some snaking turns though to lose altitude and speed. So high alpha is our friend to achieve that. So notice the CAS warning goes out while you're in flight. I don't know why. So, gear down. So there we go. That's the Boom XB-1. It's interesting to fly. If it is accurate, the real thing must be a real handful. Should we go and park it over by the F117s? Just for a bit of fun. Ah! Can't see it. There's a building in the way. It's a shame. So, how do we go about turning the engines off on this thing? I presume we can just switch them to shut off, and then we just turn the avionics systems off, and the air pressurization system, and the generators, and turn the power back off, and we're dead. And then we can go and open the canopy again. So there we go. If I go into the drone camera, we can go and have a pan around it for a final time before we say goodbye. And this was a first look at the Boom XB-1 in 2024. It does look good, doesn't it? The attention to detail is very, very good. Not sure quite how these sensors work. They must be doing something around reading the shockwave coming off the wing, I guess. Because I know this wing design really came out of the Concorde research, didn't it, from the 1960s? But yeah, it's interesting. So there we go. I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. So that was a little flight in the Boom XB-1 out of China Lake. I don't know if the drag chute is simulated. I haven't tried it. Obviously, you get this airplane with 2024, so you're welcome to go try it yourself if you've got 2024. It's a free aircraft. It comes with the simulator. It just appears following Sim Update 4. It appears in your hangar, so just search for XB-1. But yeah, I have no idea if that chute actually works. So, as I said, I'm going to leave it there. Hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you all again soon. Take care.